All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Tim and Tim Show, live every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. This week, we're talking about the Fed Reserve. It's been a hot topic. Everyone's been talking about the Fed the last couple of weeks, and most recently, the last week. If you pay attention to the CME Fed Watch tool, you'll see that the probability is, I think it's like a 92% probability as of today that they will cut 25 basis points at the next Fed meeting, which is somewhere in, I think it's around September 18th or so. I could double check on that. But
Yeah.
so what we're talking about today is how does that potential Fed push to cut rate affect the political market? And really at the end of the day, the does the are is the political pressure, sorry, I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. Is there political pressure to reduce rate in order to spur the economy? And is Trump using real estate as a political pawn? I think this is going to incite a lot of valuable feedback. Let's call it feedback from people. I think it's going to get some people interested in putting their 2 cents into this. I do have some talking points I would like to talk about, but I think that this is relevant in today's market, and I think it's something that we need to discuss. And how is it ultimately going to impact your deals, your investors, and the next 5 to 10 years in the real estate market? So, Tim, how are you doing today, man?
What do I say? Can't complain.
Can't
Actually,
complain.
we
Yeah.
should have we should just have a show where we complain. That's
Nobody would watch it. But what they
yes.
say, what misery loves company. So maybe it will be our most watched
I
show.
don't know, man. I when I look at social media, all I see is people bitching about stuff.
I
Um,
know. Yeah.
so
Um,
what's up,
yeah.
Dennis?
Trump just appointed his nominee for the Fed chair. Everyone, it's not uncommon knowledge now. Jerome Powell, or Jay Powell, his seat is up May 2026. So nominees are starting to roll in, and Trump has nominated Stephen Miran. They're calling him a what is it called? You told me this term earlier. It was a policy dove.
Policy dove.
A policy
Yeah,
dove? Yeah. What?
yeah.
Explain what a policy dove is, real quick, just so everyone kind of understands.
Well, first of all, I want to let everybody know that we will be opening up odds after the show on if Trump remembers that he nominated this guy. Um, so right now we're going 4-1
Who's this
against,
guy?
but
I don't
we'll
know who this
see.
guy is.
I can't believe Biden nominated this guy
He's a good nominee, maybe the best.
until he's not. Um, and then it's all Vance's fault. So,
Yeah.
so a policy dove. It is what it sounds like, guys. It's a friendly appointee that basically the markets are looking at and saying, I think this guy's just gonna go in and do whatever Trump asks him to do.
Yeah.
Um,
The common
so
argument, though, with the Fed chair is, yeah, understand the Fed chair is the face of the Fed, but there's what, 12 other people that are part of the Fed
right.
board, right? And they all have to vote on if
Yeah,
they're going to increase or decrease rates, and they base that on data and facts, and just they just have one person that's delivering the message.
right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's like everything else, right? Like he's the CEO, right? And you know,
right.
he ultimately holds the decision, but usually it would be very I think it would be very strange for the other however many to be like, we're doing this, and him go, yeah, y'all, I'm doing this.
Yeah, right.
That's
Like
not
going completely against his committee board and just doing what I want. I mean, that to me, that's kind of like oh yes, that Dennis, that's a great
that's
point. Powell was actually a Trump
that's
appointee from 2016. Yes,
that's
he
the
was
that's the joke. That's why we're saying we're making odds. If Trump's going to remember that he
appointed or
appointed
nominated.
this
Yeah.
nominated this guy.
Yeah.
Um, so
But yeah, I mean, I feel like if the Fed chair does completely opposite what the committee votes for, like that's kind of open
yeah,
yourself up to. Would impeachment be the right word? Kind of impeach somebody from that chair
I
if
don't
they're
know.
not doing what the board does. I mean, I don't know how that works, but that's how I'd imagine it to work.
Yeah, yeah. I I think it's going to be interesting. It's it's guys. I'll be honest with you. It's all conjecture on my part at this point.
Yeah.
This we're operating in an environment that I've never seen before. So
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
tell you that.
and that's kind of the more research you do. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube stuff. My wife gets on me about this. She's like, you stop working, but you never really stop working because if I'm just gonna go watch YouTube by myself, like after dinner and the baby's put down for bed and all that, I'm watching stuff about real estate investment topics and inflationary things and investments type stuff. She's like, you got to turn it off, and I'm like, but I love this stuff. Um, but with Trump's nominee of this new guy, Stephen Miran, what they're obviously the forecast of that is that they're going to rush to cut rates as fast as possible. Now, they will probably cut rate, definitely one cut this year, maybe two. But they're saying that if you get this other Stephen guy in the seat, that they could do some drastic rate cuts pretty quickly as they raised them. Back when what was it, 2021 and 2022 or whatever, in June when they started doing those 75 basis point increases. I mean, it could swing the other way.
Yeah.
So there's so much uncertainty. I mean, that's where I was going with the whole YouTube thing, is there's so much uncertainty, and it's anybody's guess right now. I mean, because some of the things is like, if you think about the principle of rate cutting, right? The principle behind rate cutting is to help spur the economy to present a recession, right? Because the economy is doing bad, we're going to cut the rate to increase the ability for people to operate and spur the economy, spur spending, reduce interest rates, all of those types of things.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the CPI rose, what was it, like 0.3% at the last meeting, and inflation now is being reported at 3.1%, up from, what was it, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, high twos, something like that. So it's like, guys, why are we going to cut rate if inflation is rising, CPI is rising, the job market looks really bad, right? So reducing the Fed rate could help the job market. I don't know exactly how those two are correlated, but that's kind of what I'm learning and gathering from all these things that I'm doing research on, is that, as the jobs report gets worse, they cut rate in order to help spur job creation. I think because people are laying off a lot of people, and the unemployment rate is going through the roof, and job, all that other kind of stuff. So in principle, you cut rate to help the economy. But if everything is trending up right now, inflation is trending up, CPIs are trending up, the jobs report is worse than expected. Normally, you would expect a rate increase in order to offset those increasing values, but they're pushing for decreases. So it's like we're in this uncertainty right now of like, nobody really knows what's going to happen. Like, short-term relief in financing costs is absolutely linked to reducing the Fed rate. Now, what it doesn't affect is it doesn't affect the bonds, like treasury bonds. Cutting the Fed rate does cut your prime rates, that banks are borrowing at. It does cut like your consumer debt rates, which will help spur spending. But for commercial real estate values and even single family value mortgage rates, the Fed rate is not directly correlated or tied to those rates. I mean, it's directly correlated to the bond 10-year, 30-year bond rates.
I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, I think you got to ask yourself a question like, why are we doing these things? Like, we're doing some things that are very contradictory to
Yes. Yeah.
what you would think. I would also point out, like, if we are truly seeing these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and billions of dollars of reinvestment from these companies back into the United States as a result of these tariff deals, why do we need help creating jobs? Through lower interest rates. So I think there's a lot of things on the surface that sound good, but that kind of, when you dig into them, they don't make a lot of sense. So and I think ultimately that's kind of what we're seeing, right? Is markets are kind of like, this doesn't make sense to me. So I think there's a lot of kind of unknown, and even worse, a lot of worry, if you will, about where's this headed.
Yeah, I mean,
right now,
a lot of people are saying the real
no
estate
clue.
market's stalled, right? It's stalled because the investor confusion, like uncertainty in investor market. Everyone's in this wait and see mode, and with the arguments going up, with rates going down and these things going up, and how contradictory they are, the confusion among investors is like, you know what? Let me just sit on this cash and wait and see what's going to happen because I don't need to make an investment right now. So,
Right.
and I don't feel confident in the investment world. I don't know what I don't have a uh, I don't have a good runway of what I expect to happen based on these economic factors because they're contradictory. So it's just causing everyone to stay in this wait and see mode. And like the real estate market and has just paused. Right? I mean, there's just not transactions happening because of it.
Yeah. Um, you know, very, very elementary way to kind of look at things. I don't know about where you are, but where I am, guys, I'm certainly seeing, just from the single family standpoint, I'm certainly seeing a lot of signs staying in yards without under contract on them for a long time.
Yeah.
And it seems to have happened relatively quickly. I know we went from like the heat of the market when rates were so low, and things would. I mean, you'd get like 10 offers between Friday and Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
That stopped, but things were still moving in 30 days or so. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I live in a neighborhood that things don't stay in the market very long. Um, but I'm seeing things stay on the market 90 days, 120 days. Um, and it seems to have happened quickly. Just at the beginning of the summer, into spring, things were still in that 30-day window. But there's some houses down the street from me that are now working on 60, 90 days. And when I talk to my neighbors, they're like, not really getting a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
So I think you got a couple of things there. Like rates are high. I talked to a lot of buyers for a couple of reasons who are kind of like, I think prices are going to drop, so I'm waiting. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think prices are going to drop, so I'm waiting. Um, and then you got some folks, kind of like me, kind of like some of my neighbors that are like, I got a really good interest rate. I would like to move, but I'm not going to take less for my house than I want to get. So I don't really need to go anywhere. Um,
Yeah, we talked about that a couple months ago about being price rate locked, right?
yeah,
Sellers are rate locked out of selling because their rate is so low, right? And they can't replace that mortgage with a similar
right.
value and payment, right? And buyers are priced out of interest rates because it's too expensive for them to pay what the market is
Well, now
asking.
we're well,
Yeah.
now we're adding another layer to that, which is
Yeah.
not only am I rate locked, right? Like speaking for myself, the only reason I would give up my 2.85% interest rate is if I got a price so good for my house, I'm like, I'll take the I'll take the
Yeah.
extra 100K, right?
Right.
Like
Unless you have to sell, right? I mean, those are the
unless I
people that
have
are
to sell,
yes.
right? But if you think about it, like we got that going on, and then on top of it, cost of materials is going up,
Mm-hmm.
cost to build is going up,
Yep.
builders are stopping.
Yep. Yeah, we
Um,
just I mean, we put a house under contract to buy for us to move into, and it was on the market, and they did $100,000 price cut, and then another $25,000 price cut, and we offered another $100,000 less.
yeah,
We got pretty close to that, but not the full 100K.
but
But
what's
it just kind of
what,
shows like you can go out and buy a great deal right now because people that have to sell have to sell.
yeah, have to sell. So you're looking for people that have to sell, or you're looking at builders are looking to recycle. Like
Yes.
builders are like, I did not build this to hold it. I
Yep.
didn't build it to live in it.
Yeah,
I
my
need my
10,
capital back.
12% interest rate is killing me alive, so I'll
Yeah.
take whatever I can get just to get out of it at this point.
Yeah. So I don't know. And where this all comes back to, guys, is I don't know that lowering rates is necessarily going to, I don't know what the goal of lowering rates is for the administration. I know what it is typically, but I don't know that lowering rates for the housing market is going to be the single thing that's like opens it all back up. Um, maybe,
I don't
maybe you
think
get
so
some folks,
either.
yeah, maybe you get some folks to refi like they're talking about. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't it's such an unprecedented time. I mean, God, ever since COVID, everything has been unprecedented times since COVID. Market
yeah,
volatility is just bonkers right now, between real estate pricing and um, Bitcoin pricing and everything in between, right? It's just it's pretty wild to see how much price fluctuation and changes that we see, and there's really no stability in the market, even perceived stability yet, because what we're talking about is everything's contradictory. Rates are going up. Rates are going down. Inflation going up. Jobs report is worsening it's just where nobody knows which way's up anymore, right? And
Yeah.
it's still kind of waiting for this stability and this new foundation of where are we going to end up so that we can continue to run up forward in the future.
Hey, I'll give you guys a little data point. Um, we're no surprise to you guys, we're constantly ordering materials like multiple times a
Always.
week. Appliances all the time. We have pretty standard appliance package, which we've shopped and we get great discounts on. That being said, we ordered a set of appliances um, 3 weeks ago. That was pretty much our standard price. I reordered the exact same set of appliances into last week, 50% higher than 3 weeks ago.
50%.
50% higher than three
Holy
weeks ago.
moly.
Yeah. And that's the new price. Like things are changing, guys.
Wow. We're going to have to
Costs
increase our renovation costs.
costs are going up and dramatically.
I mean,
50%
that
higher.
has to be a direct correlation to tariffs that went into effect August 1st or whatever.
Yeah. What for the set, what we were paying like 1,800 for,
No
the
way.
bill
Don't tell.
was, yeah, it's 2,700.
Don't tell. $2,700 for those black appliances now?
Yeah. It was like 2670 something for the set.
Wow.
And
Wow.
guys, we're not
I didn't know that. I mean, that's the first time
we
I'm hearing that. This is live.
we aren't buying Samsungs or
No,
or
we're buying apartment grade replaceable appliance packages, $2,700 for a black appliance package. Wow.
Mhm.
That just increased all of our renovation budgets, $1,000 overnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just on
And
appliances.
right. It's guys, it's real, guys. Like it's happening. We're seeing, like you're talking about, like inflation, right? Things are going. Cost of goods is going up. Cost of build is going up.
Mhm.
But we're talking about lowering rates. Um,
It doesn't
I,
make sense. I mean,
I,
I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, and I also don't blame a lot of investors for wait and see. However, I will say that this creates an opportunity for Tim and I and the people that do invest with us in different real estate deals is when nobody's buying, you have the ability to go. I mean, this was funny. I mean, we talk transparently and honestly on here. This was funny. It was when we were putting this house under contract to buy for my primary residence, and I'm looking at it. I'm telling Danielle, we got to get a great deal. We got to hammer this guy. We got to ask for it. Let him tell us no. And she's like, no, well, what if we lose it? And I was like, no. I do this way too often to let this guy kind of dictate. I was like, he's cutting his price a lot. He's got to get out of this. We did some rough math about what his all-in cost is. And we're like, let's cut him real low and see where he's going to anchor back at. And that ended up paying our dividends because we saved a lot of money off a list price.
Tim, interesting. Another point. I had a conversation with a broker last night. Guys, I won't tell you where the deal is or what the deal was. Vitaly, know what I'm talking about, but I'll give you the number. Vitaly and I were under contract at something. Went through due diligence, all this good stuff. Had a pretty significant price reduction due to
property condition.
Property condition. So we came back. We offered a number that was
30% less than contract,
like 7 million lower.
Yeah, closer
and
to
change.
8,
Yeah. And so they were like, nope. Got a call last night, and they were like, I was talking to the guy dealing with the deal, and they are now like, we need to go back to this other group, not Tim and Tim, because I guess they forgot, and see if they'll do, and gave the price. And he goes, that's where you guys were. And I'm like, yeah. And apparently on that phone call with that group, it was called out that like, hey, you do realize this is where Tim and Tim were a month ago.
Yeah.
And anyway, to that point, Tim, is like, you're probably not going to lose a deal by being patient and shooting your shot right now.
Right. Right.
And because this deal, they were like, nope, we'll go back to market. Well, the market's kind of told them.
Yeah.
Where they need to be.
I
And it's
think
right
my
where
price
you
is
and I
going to
were.
come even lower now.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Nothing makes me happier than when somebody says you were right. We should have listened to you. You were right. I knew it in the moment, but you didn't want to accept it.
Man, had they and here's the funny thing, guys, had they said yes at that time, we would have probably moved forward with it and just kept going.
Yeah.
But
You know what? But I also think I try to reflect on this situation right now, Tim, kind of reminds me about that deal in Raleigh that we ended up backing out of, where the next buyer ended up getting it at $5 million under where we were under contract for. And you know what? Maybe we didn't cut them under enough. Maybe there's something that we're missing, right? Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe what we offered was not low enough. And I did give him two prices, and we probably should have went with the other price, right? The other one that I'm talking about,
Yeah.
because yeah. So it is interesting to hear, but as long as you stay to your guns, I mean, you're going to get some good deals out there. But it kind of brings us back to this whole point of the show of is real estate a political pawn? And Tim and I were talking before the show real quick on some of these things, and we're like, yes, it absolutely is. And if you watched our show from last week when we are talking about the silent real estate crash, the commercial real estate crash, what they're trying to, what in my opinion, right? Okay, we'll preface it with my opinion. In my opinion, that the Fed and the political government, no matter which way you vote, red or blue, doesn't really matter to me. They're using real estate as a political pawn because they know that home ownership and home values, single family home values, affect 90% of the population. So, how do you get your voter bases on board? And it's with making sure that you're impacting them where they feel it. And we go watch the show from last week. We talked about it. Almost everybody, not almost everybody, most people have some level of stock investments, and a lot of people have some level of real estate investment, whether it's their own primary home or they have maybe a primary that turned into a rental and another primary. But real estate values impact a lot of people a lot, right? So they're like, okay, well, what's the best bang for our buck? And I think that it's the perception of reducing rate is going to help the real estate market and therefore help the greater population in difficult times that we're experiencing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Oh
I
yeah, good point, Dennis. Your rehab cost is going to drive that price lower. Yeah, man, I mean, we just all those tariffs went into effect August 1st, so add an extra $500,000 in rehab costs.
Yeah. And guys, here's ultimately, Tim, you were talking about like the policy dove and these things that are going on that seem contradictory. And guys, this is not a statement about the administration. This is just a statement about kind of how things are going these days. And I think what you're seeing, and there seem to be a lot of folks who are like very happy about this. And I'm not happy or unhappy about any particular policy in general. I'm concerned about kind of the trend that we're seeing, which is people kind of being incentivized or put in positions to do whatever a single person wants done. And
Like a
that is
dictatorship.
that is not how we operate, right? It's
Mhm.
not how we operate because, and part of the reason that our markets are so stable in a lot of ways, right, is that no one person has the ability to pull the lever, right? And I think part of what we're seeing here is potentially someone being put in place that's going to do whatever an individual wants done, and whatever their ideas of the market are, whoever that individual is, forget the people and start thinking about how markets react to that. Trust starts to erode in the market, right?
Mhm.
And when trust erodes, people who invest in the market, like lenders, start to do things like put more risk mitigation strategies in. So you may be seeing a world where, because that trust is eroded in the market policies that are being put out there, where rates may start to go lower, but your overall price to get lending may go up.
Mhm.
And
And are you talking about because they're going to put a higher spread or some additional like what are they called, like rate caps and things like that in place that you have to purchase?
rate caps, lender reserves,
Oh.
I could see lender reserves absolutely spiking because of this.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, for
be-
uncertainty. Yeah, because they
for
don't know where the
uncertainty.
rates are going to go.
Right, because one of the ways, guys, a lot of people don't talk about this, because where people start to think about it is like with spread, right? Like, hey, the market's at 3%, the spread's 3, so your effective rate is 6, right? You could see lenders going, yeah, we're going to take our spreads from 3 to 4. We're going to charge you more points on the way in and on the way in, probably more likely. And
Mhm.
then the second piece that a lot of people don't consider is the amount of reserves that the lender will require you to keep with the lender.
Yeah.
So literally millions of dollars potentially on a big commercial deal that the lender says you got to give to us that we're going to put in an account, and you can't touch it except under special circumstances.
Yep. And we're
Otherwise,
going to collect interest on it.
and they're going to collect interest on it. You can't touch it. So effectively your cost to do a deal just got way more expensive.
Yeah. Right. Your actual
Right.
cash burn, right, is
Right.
higher. Yeah.
Right. And one place that you'll see this, guys, if you've ever dealt with like HAP contracts, if you've ever purchased HAP contracts, or properties that have HAP contracts, you'll literally see owners of those properties sometimes sell them for steep discounts over what market's going for just to get their reserves out.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of dollars just
Yeah.
sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
that's just kind of one thing I want to caution people of, like, when we start thinking about like, hey, we're all lining up to
Yeah.
do exactly the same thing. Like, sometimes debating about what the right thing to do is good. I mean, just sitting here personally, like the two guys on the screen, we do not agree on the same thing all the
All the
time.
time. Right. Which
Yeah,
is good.
which is good.
Because you challenge each other. And what you're saying though is true. I mean, that's why we ended up we put a pause on our primary residence build,
Mhm.
because the lender on our construction loan wanted 65%
Yeah,
collateral
great
against the loan
example.
amount.
Yeah, great
Like,
example.
no, and even you, when I was talking to you about it, you were like, "You might as well just build in cash at that point." And I was like,
Yeah,
"You almost can, right?"
yeah,
By how much cash you got to put up in order to get access to a loan. It's like, why am I even putting up this loan and paying interest on it? And the bank is just looking at it as, hey, we're hedging our risk. We think things are going to get worse from here on out, and we're going to make sure that you pay for our risk and
right.
pay us interest on it the whole time. It's like, what? No way. So then we had to pivot, and we ended up putting this other house under contract to buy, because we were like, we got to get out of this rental house. So quick pivot there, but yeah, I mean, it's happening in the commercial space. It's happening in the single family space. That's a really good point. I completely forgot about that. And it also comes back to, the market. We're kind of talking about, is this a political push versus a market reality? And really, the market reality, the person that's bearing the cost is the end user. Always is, right?
Yeah,
And we're feeling it in different way. It's kind of being delivered in different ways in messages, but the underlying effect, the underlying impact stays the same, is that the banks and the lenders are going to protect themselves at all costs. And you, the borrower, need to protect the bank's interest and pay interest on that money. And if everything goes well, then you can have your money back and all good, no harm. But otherwise, we're not going to do it. And that's why there's been so much market stall, right? There hasn't
yeah,
been transactional value, because you got to bring so much equity to the table, it just crushes your returns. And it's like, what's the point of even doing this deal? I'd rather
yeah,
just put the money in a high yield savings account for 4 or 5% interest and wait.
yeah.
And I
And
mean, hell, I'm in the same boat. I mean, I have quite a bit of money in a high yield savings account, and I'm just waiting, because it's just, who knows what's going to happen.
yeah, yeah. Believe me, man, there's been a couple things. There's been a couple things Tim and I have looked at, and I'm like, say, because I'm in the same boat. I get this money sitting in this high yield account, and I'm like, I really want to deploy this, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to earn 4.75% on it. I want to double it. I want to triple
Yeah.
it. I want to,
Right.
but at the same time, I'm like, I really kind of, I kind of want to keep my cash reserves high right now, because
Right.
I'm a little concerned on where things are going. But guys, like, hey, just don't listen to us. Like, we're just two bums with a couple of opinions here. So, but over the next few days, now that this is starting to come out and you're starting to see these things, if you really kind of want to get dialed in, see what Jamie Dimon comes out and says, right? Um,
Jamie Dimon. Who's
um,
who's Jamie
uh,
Dimon?
was it Citigroup or Chase?
Oh, CEO. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Always get those two confused. And then, see what Buffett says, see what those guys say, see what they come out in the market and say,
Yeah.
about these directions.
I saw something come out about Berkshire Hathaway recently. It's like how Berkshire Hathaway stock has just, its performance ever since he retired has just been not great. And I think it's investor sentiment that they don't think that somebody else can run the company as well as he can.
Yeah. Who's writing the ship at this point, or who's driving
Right.
the ship, right?
Right,
Uh,
right. So,
yeah.
all right, guys. Well, that's all we got for this week. Thanks for joining. Hope you learned something. Thanks for the engagement. Appreciate everyone that watches the show regularly. And we'll be back next week with some more fun, great information. And we'll see what happens this week. And we will report back our findings next week of things that current events, things that are going on, and how are we interpreting it, and how are we implementing those things into our business, and how can you as well. So, all right, guys, thanks again. See you next week. Peace.
Hey, guys.